Less than 6 months until the Brexit deadline, and the British government is in free fall. The Leave campaign has introduced their new bus slogan, "Don't worry, falling doesn't hurt." United States of Europe making fun of the EU the American way. The UK's Theresa May is at her Conservative Tory party's annual conference this week, trying to give an honest assessment of life after Brexit. The Tory party conference is located in Birmingham, in the geographical heart of England, although most English people I know don't refer to it as that body part. In fact, much of the regional UK ranks in the top 10 poorest areas in Northern Europe. 9 out of 10 of the poorest areas. The only other one being in Belgium. French Belgium, in a place called Hainaut, although apparently it's pronounced hell-hole. These numbers come from Eurostat, one of the EU agencies responsible for sending money to the areas of Europe that really need it, causing the current UK foreign minister to compare the EU to the Soviet Union, which is totally unfair. I mean, the EU is all about redistributing wealth to the working people who really need it. Yeah, no, that's that's fair. Maybe that's why the areas that voted for Brexit are colored red. With so much poverty in England, I bet London is not even in the top 10 richest areas. Oh, wait a minute, it's the #1 richest. Yes, the country that brought you Robin Hood now brings you Robin Hood 2. Steal from the poor and give to the rich. Why is it that all the major backers of a hard Brexit just happen to be these super rich disaster capitalists? It's like the banker, the Daily Mail reader, the Tory MP, and the Polish cleaner who are sitting at a table sharing 12 biscuits. Banker grabs 11 biscuits and scoffs the lot. The Tory MP leans over to the Daily Mail reader and says, "Watch out, the Polish cleaner's trying to get your biscuit." And the biscuits are being lifted. The New York Times just reported on the situation in the northwest of England, specifically Morecambe, where the number of children living in poverty has jumped sharply in the past 6 years, a trend that critics blame in part on the Conservative-led government's policy of austerity. And that's not even factoring in the further budget cuts likely if the UK crashes out of the EU, which will have the greatest negative impact on regions outside London. Callback. The Whitehall Secretariat for Emergencies such as floods was just caught planning for a no-deal Brexit with an operation called Yellowhammer. Yellowhammer because the post-Brexit diet will rely primarily on hunting and eating rare British birds. So don't say Theresa May isn't doing anything. She's just appointed a new Minister of Food Supplies, which Britain hasn't had since the 1950s. It's like World War II without all the victory. So why this rush to crash out of the EU at any cost? It's not like they're trying to avoid the EU's impending anti-tax avoidance legislation that comes into effect right after March 2019. I mean, that's just a conspiracy theory based on the idea that these guys have their money in the EU when it's clearly in Panama. And yet, with all these London-led budget cuts for people outside London, the people outside London are most angry at everyone except London. Or, as this meme says, there are 2 types of conservative voter, the millionaires and the misguided. To find out which one you are, look in your wallet. Which is a joke. Folks outside London can't afford a wallet. I mean, look at this guy back outside Morecambe. George McCullough, a single parent to a 6-year-old son who was in financial meltdown because of welfare changes to the roughly $650 a month he gets as a bus driver for disabled children. Wow, this sounds like the kind of guy we need a lot more of in our society. I hope he doesn't get thrown under the bus. But no, under the new system, all claimants have to wait at least 5 weeks for their first payment, long enough to throw George into a vicious cycle of debt. On a recent afternoon, as his phone buzzed with debt notices from the local water board, Mr. McCullough's eyes welled up as he described how he struggled to provide his son with some of the basic things in life, like fresh vegetables, new clothes, and haircuts. Proving once again, it is very expensive to be poor. Well, hopefully, lesson learned, he'll know how to vote the next time. Nope! Mr. McCullough voted Conservative in past elections and said he would do so again if elections were held tomorrow. Step 1, press on accelerator of bus. Step 2, throw self under bus. What causes these chickens to keep voting for Colonel Sanders? It's like a hostage situation and they've got Stockholm syndrome. It's not the Tories' fault they cut my benefits. They had no choice. Maybe this whole Brexit strategy is summed up in the sentiment that Britain should be great again, like in the glory days of the British Empire. And good news, Britain, you do get to be great again, like in the 19th century. Bad news? This time, you get to be Ireland.